So it is 11. How about that? 11:01. We will get started. So very important always in yoga to do what's right for your own body. So you can almost think of what I offer as suggestions. If anything doesn't feel right for you, or you have some kind of pre-existing condition like an injury, or you're recovering from an illness or an injury, always possible to adapt. So I do try to offer suggestions for alternatives, but part of yoga is also breathing, concentration, focusing the mind on something other than the busy thoughts it's usually involved in. So that's all yoga too. You can always take a break and do those things. And with that, I think, welcome all, first of all, to the first gentle flow yoga session, which is very similar to Yoga for Healthy Aging, for those of you who've been in that series with me. And we'll get started. As we always do, please come to sit either in your chair or on the floor. Some of you may be perfectly fine sitting cross-legged. Feel free to do that, but if you do, please sit on some kind of height, a folded towel or a blanket, or come to sit in your chair. And I'll just mention, because I see a lot of people signing on right now as I speak, you will need a strap later in the class. So it would be great to have that handy before we get started. Sitting up nice and tall in your seat, whether that's on the floor or in the chair. Get out any last needs to fidget or move something around until you can come to a place of stillness for the next few moments. Physical stillness, and we'll come to focus the mind's attention on the breath. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. Rest the mind on the breath. The mind may have already wandered half a dozen times. That's fine. That's the mind's daily occupation. Simply draw it with a gentle reminder back to rest on your breath. And draw your hands now together at your heart center. Gently press palms together. Slide those thumbs just a little bit up the sternum to create more length, and we'll begin with 3 ohms together. Now, we can't hear each other, but I hope you will join me in your own practice space, breathing in. Inhaling, exhaling, replace hands to lap, float eyelids open. And thank you. I did hear some ohms, so that probably means I need to mute everyone. I hope I can do that.
Oh.
Mute. Yes, I can mute everyone. Okay, but thank you for joining me. It was nice to hear that. So, from either your seat on the floor or in your chair, we always begin by linking breath and movement. Very simply, arms alongside the body, waiting for the inhalation. And join that with movement, lifting arms alongside the ears and exhaling, release down. If arms don't come all the way up to frame the ears, that's fine. You could be a little bit more forward or a little wider. And exhaling. It's all about linking with the breath here. Breathing in. Wait for the exhalation. Join with movement. This time we're just going to come about halfway up. We're going to bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and backs of the hands stay forward. Just bow your head. Just bowing the head. We're not rounding the spine, so it's not here. It's still an upright spine with the head just bowed a little bit. And press the backs of the hands forward. Feel that space between the shoulder blades. It might feel like a pleasant stretch for the upper back. Now turn the palms forward and bring the arms up overhead. You might be here. If that's not happening with your shoulders, you could have your elbows a little bent. You could be a little more forward. Nice, relaxed, smooth inhalations and exhalations here. Release the interlace and just flow into a little twist, twisting to the right. Come on back up to center. Twisting to the left. Nice and easy with your breath at your pace. Very important in our twisting movements to maintain that nice upright posture so we don't get so involved in the twist that we're starting to say. The next time you come back to the first side, we'll have a brief hold. You can remain here. It might feel interesting to turn your head in the opposite direction. Come on back up to center and twist everything in the same direction first. And then if you'd like to, turning your head opposite. Inhale back to center and release. The arms will come to stand. For those of you who are newer, we do this in a very methodical way. Feet come a little bit closer to the rungs of the chair. Your hinge forward. If you're coming to stand, you can also remain in your chair. Hinging at your hips. Inhaling, and on the exhale, coming all the way up to stand. And releasing arms down alongside the body. Let's do that a few times. So as we come up and down, we're hinging back, hips lead. Okay, so arms up overhead, inhaling, exhaling, hips back as slow or as fast as you'd like to. Hinging forward, inhale, exhale, and releasing back. This next time, we're going to pause halfway. So don't use so much momentum that you come to standing. Coming halfway, hands at the heart center, little baby chair pose. Hips back, knees bent. And we're not tucking under here, so no rounding of the spine. Inhaling, come all the way up. And come to mountain pose from a standing position. And then this could be mountain pose from your chair. Long spine, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, over ankles, and your feet are hips distance apart. Just as when we began in the chair. The mind is focusing inward. Maybe on sensations in the body here. Maybe noticing what kind of balance you have in this simple fundamental pose. And I know some of you are using chairs, some of you are not. We're going to come to stand and face the back of the chair. You might want it for a little bit of support, you might not. We're going to begin most of our classes in this gentle flow series with little half sun salutations. And that's simply this. We can all do it together. Hands at the heart center. Inhaling, lift the arms. Exhaling, hinge back into that chair pose we just had. Hands can be at the heart. You can hold on. And find some length. Long legs, long spine. As we bend the knees, again, arms come out to the sides, thumbs rotate back, and inhale, lift. Exhale, release. We'll do it 2 more times with an opportunity to go into the forward fold a little bit more deeply if you would like to. So that could look like this for some people, or stay a little bit more upright, especially if you have any back issues. Bending the knees, inhaling, lift. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Last time, either of those 2 forward folds, or for some of you, perhaps your lengthening comes down a little bit deeper. Deeper, not always better. Do what's right for yourself. Everyone bending knees. And inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the heart. And release, bring your arms down. Please bring your left foot forward and your right foot back. So it's not a warrior foot for those of you who know the warrior poses. It's more preparing for a lunge position, all 10 toes directly forward. And once again, shoulders over hips. Let's bend the forward knee and lift one arm. Doesn't matter which one. Straighten leg, release arm. Other side. Just the other arm, same leg. And this last time, some of you may choose to lift both arms. Pause for a breath. Back heel can be lifted as mine is, or if you want a little more stability, you could put that heel down. Release your arms. We're simply going to switch legs. So bring back foot forward, front foot back. And let's start with straight legs, shoulders over hips. And bend the knee, lift one arm. Exhale, lengthen. Other arm lifts. And lengthen. Perhaps both arms. Brief pause in your lunge. Back heel pressing towards the earth. It may not be touching. And release. Let's bring the back foot forward and come all the way up to stand. We'll combine that lunge series with our little sun salute flow. So bringing it together, standing up tall, finding your mountain pose first. Hands to the heart. Inhaling, arms. Exhaling, bend knees, sit back in your chair pose. Lengthen here, any length. You might be coming closer to the floor. Bend knees. Let's keep the left foot forward. Step the right foot back. Here's your lunge. And we'll just take one arm lift here, both arms or one or the other. And breathe smoothly in and out. Release, bring your arms down. Let's take that transition. Other foot steps back. Lift arm or arms. And release, bring arms down, bring back foot forward. Chair pose, and inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the heart. Here's home base. Just pause for a breath or two, facing the short end of your mat. And we'll repeat that sequence one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, your chair pose to your forward fold. Chair pose again. Step the opposite foot back. So I think we kept our left foot forward. We're going to keep our right foot forward. Step left foot back. Align shoulders over hips and straighten the legs this time. Even that can be a little bit tippy, surprisingly, how challenging that could be for balance. Lifting arms or holding the chair with one. Breathe. Bend and soften just enough so you can switch sides. Other foot forward. And lengthen legs. One arm. Both arms lift, maybe both arms rest. And release. Last part, back foot forward, bend knees. Inhale. Exhale. Be in your mountain pose for a few breaths. I just want to see who may have joined us. Staying with your breath. And releasing, relaxing from your mountain pose. We're going to work another series of standing poses. Coming to stand, chair or not, with your right foot right between the rungs of the chair, other foot steps back. So in this pose, your toes are a little bit turned in. And Donna, I'm thinking of you. I don't think you're standing at all. You could be doing this from the chair. Both legs straight. Let's just take a little side tilt. Come on, back up. A little side tilt. Remember, the breath is more important, really, than anything. Side tilt. Release. We're coming into triangle pose. Your triangle could be a little bit supported. And bring arms to a T. Release, arms down alongside the body. We'll come into side angle. So for side angle, we're lifting, We're bending the knee and we're stretching the body long, this time with the knee bent. Come on back up and release the arms. Inhale. Exhale, take your time. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Long stretch. Back through warrior two. And release. Let's combine triangle and side angle. So the poses we just worked on. Legs begin in a straight position. Inhale. Exhale, stretch first. And then find your triangle. Pause. Come on back up with straight legs. Bend the knee. Find side angle. Keep the knee bent. And release. Let's do that one more time, combining the two straight legs. Find your reach. Triangle. Remaining with straight legs, come up. Bend the knee. Side angle. Keep the knee bent, come back through warrior two. And release. Come to face with the other foot forward. You can, I'll move my blanket. You can just switch your feet. You don't need to move your chair. So we're starting with triangle on this side. Arms lift. At any time you feel like you've had enough of the arms lifting, you can keep one by all means on the chair or one on the hip. Lots of options here. So we're stretching out long, coming back to upright, lengthening, upright. One more time. This next time we'll come into our held triangle for a few breaths, giving yourself permission at any time to come out of the pose. You could simply stand or sit in mountain pose. Triangle pose, that top arm is straight up towards the sky. It's not tilting alongside the ear. Barbara, see if you can bring it straight up towards the sky. That's the idea. That's it, exactly. For triangle pose. I just happen to be able to see you in my Zoom. And come on back up, inhaling, exhaling, release. Preparing for side angle. Inhaling, exhaling, arm to chair or thigh. Back through warrior two and straighten. Let's do that two more times. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, soften. And one more. Arms. Find your side angle. Just the torso shifts back to warrior two. Upright. Release. And just take a breath or two. Here we'll combine, as we did on the other side, triangle and side angle. straight legs first. Inhale. Find your side stretch and your triangle. Arm straight up towards sky. Come on up, bend knee, side angle. Keep the knee bent. Release. One more time, starting with straight legs. Reach. Triangle. Come on up with straight legs. And let's flow right away into side angle. Release. Turn all 10 toes forward, and you can heel toe your feet in just a little bit, maybe not quite as close as you would for a standard mountain, and just take some nice easy flows. Let your arms swing. Let yourself be loose, not too super aligned and technical, just loose and flowing. You can lift one heel and the other if that feels right. And slowing it down. Coming to stillness. We are going to come to our balance pose for today. And Donna, again, this could be just, we're going to do tree pose. I just want to see if I can see you. Are you still seated? Nod your head yes or no. It would. You are still seated. Okay. So for anyone who wants to remain seated, this is going to be tree pose. This could be your tree pose. Foot to calf. Here we are. Some of us will be standing. So standing to the right of your chair as you mirror me. I'm going to step back a little bit so you can see my arms. And come to your foundational tree. That would be heel to ankle. So you're well grounded, both feet are making contact with the earth. Hands to the heart center. Breath. Inhale, lift those arms up overhead. And a little sway to one side. Come back up. Sway to the other. Inhale. Back and forth. Of course, whenever we introduce movement to our balance poses, it adds an element of challenge. So coming to stillness, hands to heart center, one more breath here. And release. Let's do it on the other side. Opposite heel comes to ankle, hands to heart. Keeping the grounding in both feet, arms overhead, little sways. You can make these as full or as modest as you choose. Coming back to stillness, join palms, send hands to heart center, and release. Bring the foot down. We'll come back to the first side, and again, adding on, and this could be Your choice. Foot could remain grounded, or maybe you want a little bit more height today just to see what happens. Hands to the heart. Lift arms. Here it is. Ooh, a little sway to one side and the other. This is a very nice choice here, holding on with one arm or one hand. Coming back to upright, joining palms, send those hands to the heart center, foot to earth. Pause. Breathe. Find ease. If that swaying made you start to feel tense, really focus here on releasing your shoulders down away from your ears. And come to the other side. We will perhaps, for some, repeat that with the more lifted position. Foot to calf. Hey, if anybody has been practicing yoga for a long time and really wants to come up here, there's a choice. Hands to heart. Arms lift. And find your little sway. Of course, you can always come on back to the more grounded position. Grounded is good. Coming back to upright. Join palms, send hands to heart center. Release foot to the earth. And release arms alongside the body. We are going to come on down to hands and knees for people who choose to. So this will be a sequence involving downward facing dog. If you're not a kneeler, that's great. You're doing your dog and your hands and knees from standing. So I think many of you know this is an option if you don't want to kneel. This would be your hands and knees. I'm gonna move this. And this would be your downward dog. So make your choice, make your transition if you're coming down, and find table pose, standing or kneeling. Long spine, crown of head directly forward, tailbone reaching back. Breathe. We're going to come into cat-cow. In cow pose, we're lifting our sits bones, arcing our spine, lifting our chin just a little bit. Don't crank it up too far. And coming back to neutral. Engaging abdominals, coming back to table pose. And cow pose. Engaging abdominals, long, natural shape of the spine. Inhaling. I'll just say it, this first class, for anybody with osteoporosis, disc injuries, other back issues, please don't round. Anyone who doesn't have those conditions, feel free to round by bowing the head. Inhaling cow, arcing spine. Exhaling to neutral or rounding. And a few more times, find your flow. Coming to neutral. And stand up on your shins or your feet, or if you're in the chair, you're just coming back to your chair mountain. Breathe. We are going to come, as I mentioned, into downward dog. So please bring your hands back to the chair or to the mat. Walk your hands forward a little bit so they're not directly under your shoulders. Tuck your toes And be mindful as you move through this. If you've never done dog before, give it a try, see how it feels. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Inhaling, find cow first. Exhaling, gather in, engage abdominals, lift hips, press back. Dog pose with bent knees. Inhaling, come on down. Arc the spine, cow pose. Exhaling, lift hips, press into hands. Dog. Knees gently land. Cow. Exhaling, dog. An invitation to hold your dog if you would like to. You can lengthen legs. And some of you will decide to just come back to table. A few breaths in dog. Remember, my verbiage is a suggestion. You don't have to do this as long as I'm holding it. Do come down, everyone, now to hands and knees, and have your chair handy. We're going to do some lunges. So you might want to use the chair. If you happen to have blocks, they might come in handy. This could also be done without your knees down, or in the chair. Lots of options. Left knee down, right knee is bent into that kind of, sort of, right angle-ish shape. And I would suggest untucking the back toes. You've got that nice upright spine, shoulders over hips. And now we're going to tilt it forward and nudge the knee forward so you get that nice stretch in the back thigh. Lift arms or arm. Breathe. And release. Bring your hands down, come back up to upright. Let's take this into a twist. So with the same knee forward, inhale, lift the arms. Now you're upright. And we're going to come into what's known as an open twist. So you're twisting away from that bent knee side. And it should feel very accessible. Coming back to center, you can lift arms here or not. And coming into your twist on the other side, maybe a little bit more challenging. And coming back up to center, release. Switch sides. Because I know some of you, or I think some of you are seated here, I'll do this second variation from seated. Same thing. One knee forward, the other knee down. It's like a lunge. And we're starting with shoulders over hips. Then hinge forward. Slide that foot back so you're getting more stretch here. You can lift one arm. You can lift both arms. Breathe. Release. Come back to upright. And turn to face forward if you're in the chair, or come on back to your knees if you're on the earth. Let's bring the hands back behind us. And we're going to take hold, excuse my back. We're going to take hold of either opposite forearms. If this engagement of the hands is comfortable for you, feel free to do that, or it could be here. And this is not a big lift. It's really all about opening across the front of the body. Little lift of the hands or the arms. Enjoying that opening of the upper chest. Counteracts that forward hunching that we do so much in the winter, which is, I think, about to end. And release, bring your arms down. Let's come on down to our bellies. And we'll do Cobra Pose just very quickly for non-belly people. Fine to do this at a wall, hands in front of shoulders. Here's your Cobra, arcing the spine. For those of you who are coming down to the bellies, please do that now. Take your time, do so mindfully. Long spine. Legs back behind you are straight. Let's start with Sphinx Pose. Elbows under shoulders. Wrists in front of elbows. And you're finding that lift and length in the spine, just like we did in Cow Pose. Legs are straight, tops of the feet pressing down. And release. Come to a place of quiet, folding one arm on top of the other. Rest your forehead. Breathe, let your legs relax. I'll come a little closer so I'm sure everyone will be able, I hope everyone will be able to hear me. Breathing in. Find the fullness, especially in your back body. Breathing out, soften, release. Breathing in, fullness. Breathing out, soften, release. A few more times on your own, your breath's pace. And we will come into our Cobra Pose. So in Cobra Pose, just lifting your head enough so that you can place your hands under your shoulders. And with the breath, inhaling, lift from the chest first, not the head. Chest lifts, shoulders, neck, and just finish with the head. And exhale, release, bring it all back down. We'll do it 2 more times. Inhaling, find your arched position. Exhaling, soften. And this 3rd time, inhaling, lift, brief pause. Doesn't have to be a long hold here. It might feel really nice for your back, so give it a few breaths if that's what your body's asking for. And release. Bring opposite arm on top. And rest. Breathe again. And please do have a strap available. We're going to come onto our backs, but you might want to take a look first. So here's how it will go. We can do, people who don't want to come to the floor can do this in the chairs. It's pretty much the same thing. And it will go like this. Just watch initially, I'll go very fast, thigh into chest. And foot to floor, stretch long, you're long on the mat. We'll alternate, thigh in, now the leg reaches up at an L shape. Thigh in, we'll lengthen, thigh in, up towards the sky. We'll do that on both sides. Let's see, then we're going to bring that knee in, or maybe we'll do this at the same time, knee back and forth a few times like this. Other side. Last part of this will be kind of fun with the strap around, feet come into your L shape. We'll hang out here for a few breaths, and then we'll go wide. And we'll slide the legs together. We'll go wide and slide. If you don't have a strap, you can do this by holding on behind your thighs. So it's L shape to going wide. Okay, so let's transition down to the earth for those of you who are doing it. People who want to stay in chairs, just watch me. We'll do it from chairs. Everyone will have knees bent. Soles of the feet resting on the floor. Let's start by lifting the left foot up off the floor, draw thigh in towards chest. That's an exhale. Get really long, foot to the floor, reach arms back. And exhale, thigh to chest. Different motion this time. Sole of foot towards the sky. And thigh in. Get really long, foot to floor, arms back. Thigh in. Here's the alternate position, foot towards sky. Thigh in. Let's do it one more time. Get long. Thigh in. Sole towards sky. And thigh in. Pause with that foot still lifted, thigh is still in towards chest. And you're just going to move the knee, the bent knee, back and forth. If anyone on the floor wants to lengthen the opposite leg, you can do that. Or you can keep it bent. Arm can be out in a T or resting at your side. And how about changing that into some hip circles? So your knee is circling around, not just going back and forth. And you're reversing those circles. And you're coming to stillness and releasing that foot back down to the earth. Pause for a breath or two. Feel your centering with both feet well grounded. And we'll do that all to the second side. So lifting your right foot up off the earth, drawing thigh into the chest on an exhale, inhaling, land the foot to the earth, stretch arms back, exhale, thigh to chest, inhale, here's that alternate position, sole towards sky, exhaling, and inhaling. And if you get confused and you can't remember whether you just did one leg position or the other, no worries, just flow with your breath. Last time will be the L shape with sole towards sky. And exhaling, thigh in, pause. Let's move that knee out to the side, back to center. The knee is still bent. A couple of different options for arm positions. You can have the opposite arm in a T or resting at your side. Change it up to come into knee circles. One direction and then the other. And coming back to our original position, both feet on the earth. For those of you on the floor, you can take your strap. This doesn't work as well from seated. So from seated, we're just going to be doing this, okay? But if you're on the floor, taking that strap, placing it around ball mounds, and extending legs long into your L shape, meaning soles are up towards the sky. Just be there for a few breaths in your L shape, getting that nice long stretch in the backs of the legs. And going wide on your inhale, close it up on the exhale, sliding your feet against the strap, floor people. Coming back to the L shape, going wide, and exhaling. If you happen to have a lot of tightness in the backs of your legs, very common for many of us, it's okay to bring a little bend into the knees. That might bring you more ease. And everyone coming back to that L shape. I'll give you an option, floor folks especially. You can drop the strap, bring your arms back alongside your ears. Now you're in kind of an upside down, downward facing dog. If that's just too strong a pose for your back, you can hold on behind your thighs. And soften, release the arms, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet back down to the floor. And we're going to take one last pose, and many of you know this. Super simple, very nice transition pose as we begin to quiet the body and move towards relaxation. So that's Apanasana, hands on knees, feet lifted off the floor, and bending elbows, drawing thighs towards chest, keeping hands on knees, inhaling, lengthen arms, and exhaling, bending elbows, thighs towards chest. A few more times. Of course, I'm demonstrating how this would look for chair people, and my words are for floor people. I think that usually works. A few more smooth, even flows, quieting the physical effort as we begin to transition towards relaxation. And one more time, drawing thighs in more towards the chest, Here's your last breath or two for the physical practice. And everyone finding your relaxation pose on the floor, legs extended long, or I know some of you like to put calves up on a chair. If you're in the chair, you're finding the support of your chair back. You're accepting that support. And you're quieting the movement of the body, coming to a place, once again, of physical stillness. Placing your hands on your belly, on your low belly, below your navel, fingertips towards each other. They may actually touch. You can have your index and third fingers maybe touching, and take a nice, smooth, relaxed inhalation. You might notice the belly expands outward, fingers pull away from each other. Exhaling, gentle little release of the breath, belly back towards spine. Inhaling, belly gently expands. Exhaling, belly back towards the spine. Just a few more times. Don't make this at all forceful. Don't let your hands be putting too much pressure there. It's all about breathing from that deep place within you. Inhaling, open, expand. Exhale, release, find ease. A few more times. And you can either keep your hands where they are on your belly, if you like the way that feels. You can also release them alongside your body, or if you're seated, rest them in your lap. For this last few moments of our class together, physical stillness, body relaxed, breath at a natural rhythm, mind quietly resting on the breath. Please allow your breathing to become more conscious, smooth and even. If you've drifted off a little bit, maybe your mind started to go back to thoughts outside this room, or maybe you were starting to drift off to sleep. Come on back to your breath, to your focus. Gentle movement of fingers, toes, ankles, and wrists. You can turn your head from side to side if that feels pleasant. And bending your knees, rolling over onto your side. If you're in a chair, coming away from your chair back. So you're sitting up, aligned in seated mountain pose, everyone. I'll give you a moment to come on back to upright. Janet gets a nice greeting when she sits up. I see two dogs licking her face. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Gently press palms. Slide thumbs a little bit upward, and let's close with one Om together for today. Breathing in. Om. One more nice full breath in and exhaling. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me and everyone else here in class. It's nice to be together, and feel free to unmute if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jean. That was lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, Donna. I hope that worked for your leg.
It was good. Thanks for helping us out.